And what's up, guys? Dynasty, and yes, finally, after what feels like forever, today, hot off the wire this morning, courtesy of entertainmentweekly.com, they shared with us a very first look at the Mortal Kombat reboot film dropping April 16th in theaters, and of course, also at home on HBO Max. And guys, let me say, this movie's looking better than ever. The images they've released from the film, guys, it's... just look at this. We got our boys Sub-Zero and Scorpion just playing around nice and peacefully in the forest. Then we got Kano and Sonya in the middle of a desert. Then we got Cole Young. Yes, Cole Young. About to box. Got the Shaolin monks. Liu Kang and Kung Lao. We even got another side image of them right here. These costumes for both are on point. And here is Kano with no steel in his face, but still a red eye. Here's Jax Briggs and those metal arms. Jax looking pretty good. Sub-Zero just looks so sick. I wish we could see behind the weapon, behind the sword. I'd like to see our boy's mask, but of course, time will tell. Now, alongside these images in the article, they do showcase a few things, including talking about a few scenes from the movie. They talk about the amount of blood and gore, the rating. It's quotes from the director of the movie, Simon McQuoid, and of course, Louis Tan playing Cole Turner, aka Cole Young. Yes, they changed Cole Turner's name to Cole Young. So, got a lot to unpack and discuss. A few things and notes that I think you guys are... There's a few bad things. But with that said, let's raise some talent, let's have some fun. Let's get into it. So first things first, the article reads, Mortal Kombat first look inside the R-rated reboots, fatalities, and all. Of course, if you guys want to read the full thing, it'll be linked down below. Now, the article starts by saying, if this new take on Mortal Kombat revealed in EW's exclusive first look photos is a blood universe, then McQuoid says the Kunai blade lies at its center. It's the signature weapon of fan-favorite game character Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, played by Logan and Twilight Samurai star Hiroyuki Sanada. We did a bit of research, and the kunai is actually an ancient Japanese gardening tool. So one of the earliest shots in the movie is the kunai blade being used as a gardening tool by Hanzo's wife. So there you have it. We're just a paragraph in, and they're already giving us insight of the scenes from the movie. And I really do like that idea of, his wife doing the gardening of his kunai. Such a nice little parallel there. Like, this dude kills people with this weapon. Meanwhile, his wife is just gardening with it. I love it. I love that so much. And safe to assume that our boy Scorpion's family is probably gonna get killed again on the big screen, because we've seen his family die a million times in the games, etc. So we gotta love Batman of Mortal Kombat continuing to have his family get killed by Sub-Zero. Speaking of Sub-Zero, the next paragraph says, Mortal Kombat, produced by Todd Gardner and Aquaman's James Wan, begins with a crucial piece of lore from the original games. The blood feud between the clans of Hanzo and Bi-Han. The 10-minute opening sequence kicks off in a feudal Japan long before these fighters wielded supernatural abilities as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and it ends in a pretty nasty hand-to-hand combat between the two. Bi-Han versus Hanzo Hasashi. The movie will begin on a very high note, because I think universally we would all pretty much like to see that fight on the big screen. So why put it off? Let's just get into it, the thick of things. Now, goes on to say, it's why the first-time feature filmmaker cast Sanada and Taslim, two actors known for their martial arts prowess. Hanzo Hasashi is the leader of a ninja clan, and he's strong, but also, at the beginning, he's a peaceful family man. It's like a family drama with excitingly brutal fighting. That's the image of this movie for me. The story of Bi-Han and Hanzo needed to be told within the fight. There are some great camera moves to give it a bit of dynamism that make it really enjoyable. We needed it to be really elemental and really brutal. It's not a shiny film. I wanted the dirt and the grime to come through. So, grounded realism was being tossed around, I want to say like a year ago, when they're talking about the tone of the movie. I think these last two excerpts fit the bill to that. It's a movie focused on martial arts. It's not going to be too quote-unquote shiny and hopefully not overproduced of CGI, but it will be elemental and brutal. But also at the same time, feel like a family drama with some blood and gore. Mortal Kombat in 2021. Now, things are about to get a little bit interesting, because we're about to talk about Cole Young. That brutality carries over to the present, where we meet Cole Young, a wholly new character to the Mortal Kombat world, being played by actor and martial artist Lewis Tan from Wu Assassins and Into the Badlands, someone who prides himself on performing his own stunts despite the aches and pains that come along from training. Lewis Tan says when we first meet Cole, he's in a really bad spot. He's down on his luck. He's kind of a washed up MMA fighter who used to be a champion, who used to believe in himself, who used to have a lot of hope in his career, and now it's all gone down the drain. It's a very interesting place for a hero to start, and I think that's along the journey of Mortal Kombat and Cole discovering where he comes from. You're introduced to all of these other iconic characters and elements that everybody loves so dearly. So again, nothing too groundbreaking or new here. This is everything that's been talked about going on for 2 to 3 years now about Cole Young, previously known as Cole Turner. Now, this next paragraph, I'm just gonna read it to you, but take a deep breath. It says, Cole knows nothing of his heritage aside from the mysterious birthmark on his chest in the shape of the Mortal Kombat symbol. Tan remains mum on how this birthmark connects to the character's origins, but agrees it's a unique symbol that will eventually tie into the journey that he's going on. It remains the only clue Cole has when the sinister sorcerer and emperor of the realm Outer World, Shang Tsung, sends Sub-Zero, now with his cryomancy powers, to hunt him down. So Cole Young has a tattoo of a dragon symbol on his chest. Shang Tsung sends Sub-Zero out to hunt him, and Outworld now being dubbed as Outer World. Please be a typo. Speaking of other characters with tattoos on their chest, Major Jackson Jax Briggs, a Special Forces major who bears the same mark as Cole, urges him to seek out Sonya Blade. She ferries him onward to the next leg of the journey to the thunderous elder god known as Lord Raiden, who grants sanctuary at his temple to all those with the mark. There, Cole encounters even more recognizable characters in the Mortal Kombat games, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Kano, as they all train for a high-stakes tournament to defeat the invading enemies from Outer World. Again, not Outworld, but Outer World. I just hope these tattoos aren't as bad as when someone dies back in the older movies where this, like the whole little dragon would leave their body and fly away like that. Don't want anything like that in the movie, but again, time will tell. Let's see how bad these tattoos may or may not be. Now, speaking of things that may or may not be bad, let's get back to talking about our favorite new character, Cole Turner, aka Cole Young. It reads here, Cole is certainly something fans haven't seen before. While many gamers can call it the unique fight moves of familiar names, like the daggers of Melina, Tan, aka Cole Young, used his own experience and developed a fresh style for Cole. He pulled from UFC fighter George Masvidal for that salt-of-the-earth grit, while also tapping into Muay Thai, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, and other MMA roots. So there's the inspiration behind the moveset of Cole Turner. Very interesting to know. Now, don't let the creation of this new character fool you into thinking that the writer and the director did not care about the Mortal Kombat lore, because they do. It says here, I wanted to make sure that everyone respected the material, the lore of MK, the fans, and the love they have for this. Everyone was clear on it, McCoy says, of developing the reboot. Respect for the material also meant leaning into what makes Mortal Kombat so popular after all these years. Blood has a lot to do with that. About to get real, boys. It says in the next excerpt, as a joke, McCoy told stunt director Kyle Gardner to craft the best fight sequences ever done in a movie ever. In reality, these action pieces are some of the highest rated elements of the movie to come out of the early test screenings, according to McCoy and Tan. We need to be smart about how we go about the fights, the director notes, and there are times you'll see when you see the movie when it's just like, F it, let's have some fun. So again, there's always been this emphasis on the choreographed fight scenes, and I think that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, Mortal Kombat's about martial arts and fighting, and would make no sense if that wasn't the highlight, right? So I'm glad to know that the fight scenes are better than expected, and everyone from the test screenings have pretty much loved them so far. Now, this next excerpt reads, McCoy is still editing the film, but he already knows it's definitely not gonna get a PG-13 rating, huh? No shocker there. Now, it goes on to say, out of context, this next quote might seem incendiary, but it's not. The rules around ratings aren't what people think they are, he says. It's amounts of blood, it's amounts of red, it's interpretation of how you go about it. We had a lot of discussions about getting the balance right, so there was gore and there was blood, and there were fatalities. He pauses to repeat what he said, and there is gore, blood, and fatalities. you guys gotta get excited. At the very least, we gotta see fatalities on the big screen. That, my friends, that is a win in and of itself. Big thumbs up from me. Speaking of fatalities, this final excerpt is about the fatalities. It says, fatalities, as in the dramatic finishing moves from the games that often involve severing someone completely in half or ripping out someone's spine, will be realized for the first time in a Mortal Kombat movie. This next quote's from Lewis 10. It says, there are some crazy fatalities. We've picked a couple of iconic ones. There's a lot of really cool signature moves you'll see, a lot of Easter eggs that we snuck into the film, but there are some really badass fatalities that I can't wait to see on the big screen. They're brutal, man. They don't hold back. At the same time, McCoy didn't want to get into NC-17 territory. He notes, it's amazing how quickly you can get there. It doesn't take much, at least not for a Mortal Kombat movie. So again, I highly suggest checking out the full article. I have this linked down below because it's jam-packed with a bunch of stuff to expect from this film. Sadly, currently right now, still no word on when to expect the world reveal premiere trailer for the movie, but I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later because again, this is like a big deal. They just dropped all these screenshots today after waiting what feels like a lifetime. So honestly, this was just a lot to take in and read to you guys. For me, seeing the images they released with this article, it gets me just hyped because it looks legit. This does not look like some straight to DVD, low budget failure. And I think that's what everyone was afraid it was gonna be. Maybe like a Legacy-esque type of budget, but no, it seems like a legit feature film, and that's good. I get it. Cole Young, I mean, at this point, it's more of a meme. I've had a year and a half, 2 years to accept that. So for me, it's not even much of a red flag. I enjoyed those Alice Resident Evil movies, and she's not a real Resident Evil character. So, you know, I love Mortal Kombat, but it is what it is. I have to accept it. Cole Turner, we can deal with, but changing the name of Outworld to Outer World, that just seems kind of pointless. So I hope that's a typo. I hope there's not small things like that. That would kind of get under my skin a little bit. They changed small, minute things. But everything else looks amazing, for what it's worth, too. In the screenshot of Jax, some of you guys have pointed out to me over on Twitter that Jax is holding on to what appears like Shao Kahn's hammer. And if you look closely, almost look like someone's shoulder pad. So it looks like Jax is squaring off against Shao Kahn in the screenshot, which is kind of a big deal because I think currently it's still not confirmed he's in the movie, but Nathan Jones, the former WWE wrestler, was casted to be him, allegedly. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. But guys, that's all I got for y'all today. What do you think of all of this? Let me know in the comment section down below. I am very intrigued to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions because, like I said, for me, I've had time to just not have any expectations at this point. I am just going in there with the lowest of lows, so I'm not disappointed. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys enjoyed. Take a second, please drop a like on the video. Of course, subscribe for some more MK content here on the channel. I will react to the trailer whenever that drops. Love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one. You see, I've been a fan of Dynasty for years now. GTA, MK, and Justice, I'm still down. Rapper meets gamer, I wonder how y'all feel now. That was just a setup, watch it get real now.